Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we are continuing the story, what if Naruto fell in love with Tsunade instead of Sakura? This is part 4. If you're enjoying this fanfiction, make sure to smash the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe with the bell icon so you never miss the next part. Alright, let's begin part 4. Outside Konoha. While Tenten and Neji dealt with their problem, everyone else was outside as they waited for the signal to start. Everyone was quite anxious as the signal took longer to happen than expected. What is taking them so long? Kiba asked. Everyone shrugged as they waited patiently. Do you think that they ran into some trouble? Ino asked the group. That might be it, but I wonder who could cause them trouble, Tsunade decided to say. We will just have to wait and trust that they send the signal for us to begin, Naruto said to everyone. Everyone nodded as they sat in their respective positions and awaited for the signal from Tenten and Neji. With Neji and Tenten, Neji cursed as he got out of some rubble from the shack. Neji soon cracked his neck as he looked at his former teacher. Always taking things too far, you haven't changed, Guy-sensei, Neji said to him. Guy sighed as he looked at Neji. Sorry Neji, but you will have to surrender. You can't beat me, Guy said like it was the biggest fact in the world. Neji smirked as he got up. I remember saying the same thing to Lee. It is so stupid now that I think about it, Neji said to him. Flashback. Konoha Senpu, Lee shouted as he managed to hit Neji into a block of stone. Neji cursed as he slipped into unconsciousness. I can't believe I lost. You have shown me your power, Lee. You are just like Naruto, Neji managed to say before he was out cold. Flashback end. Neji smiled as he got up and resumed his family's taijutsu stance. Sorry Guy-sensei, but this is my mission and I will see it through, Neji said as he charged Guy. Guy was soon caught off guard as Neji sidestepped a punch he sent out. Neji brought his palm forward as he managed to hit Guy in his chest. Neji soon followed with a sidekick as he sent Guy into some crates. Not done yet Guy-sensei, Neji said as he did some hand signs. Raiden. Sandakumo no Kami, lighting style. Deity of the thunder clouds, Neji yelled as the thunder clouds in the sky swirled as lightning struck through the skies. Guy looked up to see the lighting from a giant man-like creature with a spear. Neji smirked as he looked at Guy's expression. Feel the wrath of the thunder god, Neji said as the deity brought the spear back and threw it at Guy. Guy's eyes narrowed as the light enveloped him and struck the shack. With Naruto and the others. That must be Neji throwing a fit, Shino said to them. Everyone nodded, still wondering who Neji and Tenten were fighting. Back with Neji and Tenten. Neji smiled as he fell to one knee. Neji looked at the destruction on his side as he smiled. Damn, I guess I didn't get him, Neji said as he looked to see Guy appear. Very good Neji. If my weights weren't off, that would have killed me, Guy said to him. Neji nodded, but got up. Guy-sensei as your former pupil, will you please listen to me for a few minutes? Neji asked for the last time. Neji really wanted to save the people he could, he really didn't want to kill Guy, but he would if he had to. Guy pondered Neji's request as he looked at the Hyuga child. Guy smiled as he still felt sympathy for his old team. Go ahead Neji, say what you want, Guy said to him. Neji nodded with a smile as he got up. Guy-sensei, we are here to destroy Konoha, but there is something that you don't know, Neji said to him. Guy curled up an eyebrow that made Neji shiver at the way it moved. And what is it that I don't know, Neji? Guy asked him, curious to know. Neji smiled as he looked at Guy. Tsuchikage-sama has allowed us to save those we deem fit for saving, Neji said to him. Guy suddenly perked up as he looked at Neji for any sign of a lie, but couldn't find any. And why didn't you tell me this before? Guy asked him. Neji narrowed his eyes as he looked at Guy. Cause you didn't give me the time to explain, Neji said to him. Guy chuckled with a nod at Neji's attempts to get him to listen. Well, I feel like a fool. Truth be told, this village is most unyouthful now, I would like to go to your village, Guy said to him. Neji nodded with a smile. Thank you Guy-sensei. Now let's go and get Tenten and Asuma, Neji said to him. Guy nodded as he ran with Neji to find Tenten and Asuma. With Tenten and Asuma. Tenten and Asuma were at a stalemate as they looked at the countless weapons scattered across the ground. Both were huffing as they looked at each other. Will you surrender, Tenten? Asuma asked her. Tenten smirked as she sighed. No, Asuma-sensei. I am an Iwa shinobi and I will complete my mission, Tenten said to him. Asuma sighed as he nodded. Then you leave me no more options, Asuma said as one of his knives glowed. Tenten smiled as she unsealed a sword from her scroll. Tenten soon channeled her chakra through the blade as fire suddenly engulfed it. Asuma narrowed his eyes as Tenten looked at him. Looks like I have the advantage, Asuma-sensei, Tenten said to him. Asuma smirked with a nod. Yes you do, but that doesn't guarantee that you will win, especially against me, Asuma said to her as he charged. Tenten smirked as she charged also. As both neared each other, they were suddenly stopped by a hand on each of their arms. Okay, let's stop fighting and talk this out, Guy said to Asuma. Neji nodded to Tenten as the fire in her blade settled down and vanished. Asuma's knife stopped glowing as they looked at each other. Asuma, Neji told me that the Tsuchikage of Iwa is allowing them to save those who they want to save from destroying Konoha, Guy said to him. Asuma looked at Guy, then Neji and Tenten. Both nodded to him that this was the truth. Asuma sighed as he blew a breath from his cigarette. Well, I wasn't serious about protecting this place. My father would frown upon this village. I can't see a reason for it to stand. Alright, I will go to Iowa with you guys, Asuma said to them. Both nodded with smiles as they looked at them. Thank you very much for accepting. We are saving other people also. We don't want to kill you if you aren't for Konoha, Neji said to them. Guy and Asuma nodded with a few smiles on their faces. So is everyone else here also? Asuma asked. Neji and Tenten smiled. Yeah, they are, we are all here, Tenten said to him. Just one question, Guy said to them. Yes, Guy-sensei, they said to him. Why are you both so tall? It hasn't even been a year since you left, but you already look like 5 years have passed, Guy said to them. Both looked at each other and chuckled. Oh well, that is quite the story, let's see. It probably started with, they began to tell the two joined the story as both had their jaws to the ground. Tsunade got younger. Asuma asked wide-eyed. Tenten nodded. Kyuubi is female. Guy asked them. Neji nodded. Naruto is engaged to Tsunade. They asked them. Both nodded with a slight smile. Asuma and Guy looked at each other. Well, I'll be damned, how do you like that? Asuma said with a smile. Guy looked at the sky and gave Naruto a thumbs up. A most youthful act, Naruto, Guy said to the sky. Neji and Tenten smiled, but soon got serious as they realized that they didn't signal. Oh Guy-sensei, Asuma-sensei. Please gather all people who are willing to leave Konoha, we need to start the signal of the invasion, Neji said to them. Guy and Asuma nodded as they shone out of sight to find the people. Neji and Tenten smirked as they headed to the shack. We are going to get an earful from Naruto and Tsunade, Tenten said to him. Neji rubbed his temples. Don't remind me, Neji said as Tenten placed the bomb at the center of the shack. Both soon sunshined to a nearby house as Tenten formed a signal hand sign. Let the invasion begin, Tenten said with a smirk. Neji nodded as they sent the signal. Kai, Tenten yelled as the bombs in all 4 corners of the Konoha shacks exploded. The village soon could be seen with massive explosions in 4 different places like a square. Soon the village was on high alert as Neji and Tenten sunshined back to the group. With Naruto and the others. Everyone smiled as they finally saw the signal for the invasion. They almost laughed as they saw the village in a state of panic. Finally the signal, Kiba said as he cracked his neck. Soon Neji and Tenten appeared near Naruto. Where were you guys? Naruto said to them. Both sheepishly smiled as they sweat dropped. We were busy fighting Asuma-sensei and Guy-sensei, but we managed to convince them to come to Iwa, Tenten said to him. Naruto looked at them, then nodded with a smirk. Alright, fine, at least the signal is here. Alright, everyone scatter and destroy, but save who you want to save, Naruto said to them. Everyone nodded with smiles as they all ran towards the village. Everyone broke off in pairs as the invasion of Konoha began. Hokage Mansion. Danzo cursed his luck as he saw and heard the explosions across Konoha. Soon an Anbu officer came in and bowed. Danzo-sama, we are being invaded, the man said to him. Danzo cursed as he looked outside. By who? He asked. We aren't sure, but we believe that it is Iwa, sir, the man said to him. Danzo nodded. All right, get all our shinobi on them right now. We have to eliminate this threat, Danzo said to him. Yes sir, the man said as he left. Danzo soon smirked. I think my apprentice might like this chance, Danzo said with a smile as he left his office. With Shikamaru, Ino and Choji, the three members of the Ino-Shika-Cho trio roamed their part of the village as they threw kunai and shuriken at all the targets they saw, effectively eliminating them. That is another down, Ino said as she shoved a kunai into the back of someone's head. Good. Now let's go to our clan houses, we will go to Ino's first and if they don't comply with our request then we will have to fight them, Shikamaru said to them. All three felt slightly sad, but they did understand their mission. Alright let's go, Choji said as they ran to Ino's house. With Neji and Hinata, Neji thoroughly eliminated shinobi and civilians alike as they raced through the village. Neji could see Hinata struggling to follow the demands of the mission. Soon Neji stopped Hinata and placed a hand on her shoulder. Hinata, I know that you feel bad for doing this, but this is a mission. Trust me, I don't like it either, but we must do this. Killing doesn't make you a monster, Hinata. Only when you feel nothing for the killing do you become a monster. Showing that you still care for these people makes you very much human, Neji said to her. Hinata looked at Neji and slowly breathed as she took his words in. She knew in her heart that he was right. Hinata slowly nodded. Why you're right Neji-ni-san. This is our job and we must do it. I understand, Hinata said to him. Neji nodded as they two ran off again. Neji looked to see Hinata strike some civilians also. Neji could see her hesitated slightly from the pain of killing her own villagers, but she seemed to be much better off than before. Let's head to the Hyuga clan house, Neji, Hinata said to him. Neji nodded as the two ran off. Kiba with Shino. Both jumped through the houses as they looked to see they were surrounded by Anbu Black Ops. Looks like we have a slight problem, Kiba said with a smile. Shino nodded. A slight inconvenience Kiba, Shino replied. Akamaru barked in agreement. As the surrounding shinobi drew nearer to them. You are both under arrest for an attempted invasion of Konoha. You will either be detained and questioned or will die, one Anbu said to them. Kiba sighed as he got into his family's stance. This isn't an attempt at invasion. This is an absolute invasion that will be the end of Konoha, Kiba said to them with a smile. One of the Anbu sneered at Kiba though because of his mask. Then you will die at the hands of Konoha, one of them said as they charged Kiba. Kiba and Shino smiled as they nodded to each other. As the Anbu closed the distance between them, Kiba popped a food pill in his mouth and became more feral. Alright Shino, let's get it done, Kiba said to him. Shino nodded as Kiba and Akamaru charged. Kiba had been working on his speed in Iowa and managed to pass by an Anbu with little difficulty. All Anbu were surprised as Kiba began to spin as he turned towards them. Gatsuga, Kiba yelled. Soon the Anbu managed to dodge the incoming drill as they backflipped onto a building. Two of the Anbu did their hand signs as Kiba smirked. Kaiten, Gokaku no Jutsu, one of them yelled. Kaiten, Karyu Enden, the other yelled as the two fire Judas combined into a massive fire. Kiba narrowed his eyes until he suddenly smirked. Kiba was now in the air thanks to a push from Shino's bugs. Thanks for assisting Shino, Kiba said to him. Shino nodded and looked at the Anbu. Time to end this. You were too focused on Kiba and now you will pay for your failure, Shino said to them. Kiba smiled as he landed behind Shino. Look up fools, Kiba said to them. All Anbu looked up to see a massive ball of insects heading for them. Both Kiba and Shino smiled. Kikaichu. Hiotamanao Arashi no Mahi, parasitic insects. Paralyzing hailstorm, Shino yelled as the swarm of insects swallowed the Anbu. The screams of the Anbu could be heard as they were eaten alive by Shino's insects. This is because you underestimated us. Not very Anbu-like, Shino said, which caused Kiba to laugh. Alright, let's head to the next place, Shino said to him. Kiba nodded as the two ran off. With Jiraiya. Jiraiya was hopping along the rooftops as he dodged a kunai that stuck to the roof of the building. Well, it seems that Konoha has really gone down the drain since the last time I was here, Jiraiya said to his pursuers. You shouldn't have left then, Jiraiya of the Sannin, an Anbu captain said to him. Jiraiya chuckled as he turned around. Well, I would have stayed had you not been such a bitch to my godson, Jiraiya said as 4 Anbu surrounded him. Jiraiya smiled as they seemed to forget who they were dealing with. Surrender, Jiraiya of the Sannin, one of them yelled. Jiraiya sighed as he bit his thumb. Here is my answer to that. Kuchio's no jutsu, Jiraiya yelled as he summoned a medium-sized toad with a black and yellow coloring to the rooftops. He also had 2 swords on his back in an X shape. What can I do for you, Jiraiya-san? The toad asked him. Jiraiya smiled as he pointed at the Anbu. We aren't aligned to Konoha anymore, so take care of 2 of the Anbu for me, Gamatensu, Jiraiya said to him. Gamatensu smirked at the stiffened Anbu as he drew his swords. Like my uncle, I am clumsy, but I will fight, Gamatensu said as he charged at 2 of the Anbu, separating the unit of 4. Jiraiya cracked his knuckles as he turned to the other 2. I might as well teach you to respect the Sannin, Jiraiya said to them. Both Anbu took out a kunai as they waited for him. Jiraiya soon threw a shuriken at them as he did a hand sign. Cage shuriken no jutsu, Jiraiya yelled as 1 shuriken became 40. The Anbu took action and quickly parried the blows of the incoming shuriken with their kunai. As the shuriken stopped, both Anbu looked around to find Jiraiya, but he was soon gone. Jiraiya smirked as his figure appeared at the center of the moon. Jiraiya smirked as he looked down at the unsuspecting Anbu. Wow, Konoha's Anbu have really diminished their abilities. Back in the day, they could have found me by now. I wonder what the training program is for these people, Jiraiya thought as he soon shrugged his shoulders. Oh well, Jiraiya said as he did a quick shift of hand signs. Kaden. Endant fire style. Flame bullet, Jiraiya yelled as he sent a massive fireball at the Anbu below him. Soon the 2 Anbu looked up and managed to dodge the ball of fire, though barely. Jiraiya smirked as he looked at the giant hole of fire he made as he saw the destroyed houses around the area. Wow, you guys cannot protect the area, can you? Jiraiya asked them with a smile. The 2 Anbu seethed. They did have to protect Konoha where Jiraiya didn't have to. He could go on a rampage without any worry at all. Both Anbu charged Jiraiya with a bit of haste as they neared him. Jiraiya smirked as he took out some smoke bombs and threw them to cover his trail. Soon the Anbu lost Jiraiya again as they looked around for him. Soon the smoke began to dissipate as they looked to see a small orange light in the distance of the smoke. As the smoke cleared, both Anbu looked to see 2 orange spheres in each of the Toad Sage's hands. Soon Jiraiya smirked as he charged the Anbu and managed to slam both with the spheres as he managed to bring the spheres together. Kaden. Sojin Goen Rasengan, fire style. Double rapid great flame Rasengan, Jiraiya yelled as the intense Rasengans of flame combined and formed a large Rasengan sphere around the area. The giant sphere tore nearly everything apart in Jiraiya's vicinity as the jutsu died down. Jiraiya smirked as he held a piece of the cloaks of the formerly living Anbu. Burn in flames, Jiraiya said to the deceased Anbu. Hey Gamatensu, are you done? Jiraiya yelled at him. Gamatensu soon appeared next to Jiraiya. The problem has been taken care of by Jiraiya. I am going to go now, he said to the Toad Sage. Jiraiya chuckled with a nod. Alright Gamatensu, thank you for the help, Jiraiya said to the Toad. Gamatensu nodded then disappeared in smoke. Alright, first I should go to the Jutsu archives. I am sure Iwa would want Konoha's jutsu, Jiraiya thought with a smile as he sunshined to his destination. With Danzo. Danzo stood on top of the Hokage mansion as he saw the fires blaze around his village. Danzo seethed as he saw how much trouble the former Konoha 11 could be. He had recently found out the identities of the intruders of Konoha and it only made him more angry. How did they get so strong? It's only been around 9 months since they left, Danzo thought as Sakura shone behind him in a cloud of darkness. Danzo-sama, what are we supposed to do? The village is in turmoil right now as the demon and his friends spread destruction around it, Sakura said to him. Danzo sighed as he looked in the distance. The safety of the civilian population comes first. After that we will deal with the intruders. Sakura, I want you and the rest of the Chunin and Jonin to get people to safety along with the Genin, Danzo said to her. Sakura nodded with a smirk as she disappeared. Danzo soon took off the bandages of his arm and right eye as he revealed an arm full of Sharingans and his right eye with the Sharingan also. Looks like I will have to have some fun also, Danzo said as he disappeared from the mansion. With Naruto and Tsunade. Naruto smiled as he impaled a Chunin with a kunai as he wiped the blood off his tool. That's another one down, Naruto said with a smile. Tsunade smirked as she looked at her fiancé. You sure don't waste time, Naruto-kun, Tsunade said as punched another Chunin in the stomach and sent them past 10 buildings. It seems you don't either, Tsunade-chan, Naruto said to her. Tsunade nodded as the two were suddenly surrounded by 10 more Chunin. I have had enough of this, Naruto said as wind soon formed around him. Tsunade smirked as she got some distance from him. Fuden. Shikei's no ha wind style. Death blades of the wind, Naruto said as he sent several unseen wind blades at his enemies. Soon all 10 Chunin fell to the ground as their limbs fell to the ground. Tsunade reappeared next to Naruto with a smile. I know you told me that you trained after you lost to Sasuke, but how do you still know this many futon techniques? Tsunade asked him, curious to know. Naruto smirked as he went through his memories. I guess it started during. Flashback. Naruto woke up in the hospital as he looked around. He sighed as he looked to see the bandages around his body. I couldn't bring him back. What is wrong with me? I couldn't keep my promise, Naruto thought as he had his head down. If only I was stronger. If only Kakashi actually taught me something useful. If only, Naruto went on as he berated himself for not being able to bring back Sasuke. If you want to get stronger you just have to ask, the Kyuubi said to him. Naruto sighed as he didn't feel like dealing with his tenant. What do you want, Kyuubi? I don't feel like talking right now, Naruto said with a sigh. Kyuubi smiled though Naruto couldn't see it. Then don't talk and listen. You need to get stronger. I can't have a weak host here. All you even know is the Kage Bunshin Jutsu and the Rasengan. I mean, come on, don't you have anything else? She asked him. Naruto narrowed his eyes. It's not like I had anyone to teach me after all. From Eros Sennin all I know is that I have a wind affinity and he won't bother to train me, Naruto replied. Kyuubi smiled with a nod as she knew he was telling the truth. How about I train you in the wind affinity? Kyuubi said to him. Naruto soon queried as he soon smiled. Why are you being so nice to me now? Naruto had to ask. Kyuubi slightly blushed for obvious reasons, but soon replied. Since when am I going to be nice to you? I don't need a weak host kit. That is the only reason. Now I will transfer the knowledge I have on wind affinity and some of the jutsus I know along with it. You also have a slight fire affinity from containing me. Soon you will get that also. Kyuubi said with a finish. Naruto nodded with a thank you that made Kyuubi blush a bit. Soon Naruto's head went into overload as he soon passed out from too much information. I guess my host will be just fine. Though he is the strangest host I have ever gotten, Kyuubi said with a smile. Flashback end. So I spent that week training until the ugliness happened to me, Naruto said to Tsunade. Tsunade nodded in understanding. Note to self, thank Hina after the invasion is over, Tsunade thought with a smile. Alright, let's continue forward. I am going to teach Danzo a lesson, Naruto said with a smirk. Tsunade nodded as they headed for the Hokage mansion. Soon Naruto and Tsunade came across a trio with kunai in their hands. As Konoha Shinobi we will stop you, said the trio of kids. Naruto sighed with a smile as he looked at them. Good to see you again Konohamaru, Naruto said with a smile. Soon the trio came to show Konohamaru, Moegi, and Udon. All three were confused as to how the blonde knew them. Do we know you? Udon said to him. Naruto smiled. Are you kidding? You called me boss nearly every time you saw me, Naruto said to them with the hint. All three became wide-eyed as they looked at him. Naruto ni-san, they all shouted as they pounced on Naruto. Naruto chuckled as he patted their heads. Hey you three, how are you guys doing? Naruto asked them. All three nodded. Not very good. We are forced to be Konoha shinobi, even when we resigned. My grandfather must be in so much grief over this, Konohamaru said to him. Naruto sighed with a nod. That is why I am destroying Konoha Konohamaru, Naruto said to him. All three looked at him in shock. But why you? They asked him. Naruto sighed as he pointed to his headband. I am an Iwa shinobi. These are my orders. The only thing I can do is save the people who I want to save, Naruto said to them. All three looked at him with a smile. Does that mean? Yes, I am saving you three along with some of the Jonin. I want you to meet up with Asuma and Guy. Tell them I sent you and you will be fine, Naruto said with a smile. All three immediately saluted him as they ran off to find Asuma and Guy. They haven't changed at all, though that makes me happy, Naruto said with a smile. I am sure it does, Tsunade said with a smile. Anyone else you want to save? Tsunade asked him. Naruto smiled with a nod. I only have 2 civilians who I can think of that are worth saving, Naruto said to her. Tsunade sighed with a chuckle. I think I know who you mean, she said as the two ran off. With Hina and Sasuke. Hina and Sasuke were soon up against 12 Jonin as they smirked. 6 of the Jonin smirked as they did the hand signs for a massive Kaden jutsu. Sasuke, we need to combine our Kaden techniques, Hina said to him. Sasuke nodded as the two did the same hand signs. Kaden, Jigoku no Akari, fire style. Hell's Wrath. The 6 Jonin yelled as the fire combined and formed a giant flame vortex at Hina and Sasuke. Both managed to finish their hand signs as they took a very deep breath of air. Kaden, Suin Karyu Enden, fire style. Twin dragon flame bombs. The two yelled as they fired. It was so hot that a part of the fire appeared white. Soon the Kaden techniques collided for supremacy. Sasuke and Hina's jutsu managed to overpower the 3 Jonin as they were burned alive. 6 down, 6 to go, Sasuke said with a smile. Soon 3 Jonin surrounded Sasuke and the other 3 surrounded Hina. Hina soon smirked as her slitted eyes became redder. You shouldn't try to corner a fox, Hina said to them. Soon her body was enveloped in a red cloak as a tail appeared behind her. Hina soon disappeared, leaving the 3 Jonin shocked. One of the Jonin gasped as blood poured from his mouth. He turned to see Hina behind him with a smirk. I have wanted to do this to a Konoha shinobi for a long time for what you people did to my Naru-kun, Hina said to him. The Jonin coughed as he looked to see her hand pierce his chest. Hina smiled as she withdrew her arm as the Jonin fell to the floor dead. Hina smiled as she turned to the other Jonin. Your turn, Hina said as she showered her teeth. The 2 Jonin were terrified as they backed away from her, but as soon as they stepped back their heads fell to the ground as Hina smiled across from them. That is for treating my Naru-kun badly, Hina said as she dissolved her cloak. Sasuke managed to incapacitate his opponents as he wiped his sword clean off from the blood. Hina, what are you going to do now? Sasuke asked her. Hina smiled as she looked around. I am going to deal with some trashy civilians, what about you? Hina asked him. Sasuke smiled as he sheathed his sword. I am going to find an annoying pink banshee to fight, Sasuke said to her. Hina chuckled with a nod. All right then. Well, I am off, Hina said as she disappeared in a swirl of fire. Sasuke smiled as he hopped across the rooftops. Now where are you, Sakura? Sasuke wondered as he looked around for her. With Gaara, Temari and Kankuro. Gaara soon crushed a civilian with his sand as he let the sand absorb the blood. Temari smiled as she swung her fan, destroying some of the buildings in the area. Kankuro managed to cut down a few civilians with his puppets as he drew them back to him. So what should we do now? Kankuro asked them. Gaara thought for a minute as he looked up. We will go find Asuma and Guy. It is our job to handle the transportation of the people who are worth saving, Gaara replied. Temari and Kankuro nodded as they sunshined out to find the 2 Jonin. With Asuma and Guy. Yes Kakashi, it's no joke. I know Neji and he doesn't lie about matters this serious, Guy said to the copy ninja. Kakashi looked at Asuma who nodded. Enko, Kurenai, Yugo, Ebisu, and Ibiki took thinking poses as Asuma and Guy let them in on the information that Neji and Tenten shared with them. So we could leave Konoha and become Iwa Shinobi and Tsuchikage allowed that? Enko asked them. Guy and Asuma nodded as everyone gave a disbelieving face. That sounds almost too good to be true, Kurenai said to them. Hey, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, Asuma said to them, which caused a few to chuckle. Naruto has given us the opportunity to leave this unyouthful village, why shouldn't we take it? No matter where he goes, Naruto is Naruto and I trust him, Guy said to them. Everyone looked at each other and smiled. All nodded as they took out a kunai and scratched out the symbol for their village. So what do we have to do? Ibiki asked them. Right now, we have to find Uncle Asuma, someone yelled. Everyone turned around to see Konohamaru and his friends. What is Konohamaru? Asuma asked him. Konohamaru took a deep breath and replied. We met Naruto Ni-san. He said he could take us all away from this village and live as Iwa Shinobi along with him and his friends, Konohamaru said to them. Everyone chuckled as they nodded. We know Konohamaru, we were just about to leave. You come too, we have to meet up with Gaara and his siblings, Asuma said to everyone. Everyone nodded as they took to the rooftops or what was left of them and went to find Gaara. Oh, and you guys aren't going to believe some new information we know, Asuma said to them. Everyone turned to him curious. After today nothing can surprise me, Enko said to him. Asuma curled up an eyebrow. Trust me, you have nothing on this, Asuma said to them. So what is it? Kurenai asked, very curious to know. Well, it deals with Naruto, Guy said to them. What is it already? Enko yelled. Asuma and Guy smiled as they looked at them. Naruto is engaged to Tsunade, Asuma said to them. The group soon stopped as they tried to process that information. Everyone had shocked faces as they looked at Guy and Asuma. What did you say? They all yelled. Asuma and Guy laughed as they looked at their friends trying to fathom that possibility. We don't know much either, but according to Neji they are quite the couple now, Guy said to them. Everyone continued to jump through the rooftops as they were all eager to see Naruto soon for information. With Naruto and Tsunade. Naruto and Tsunade soon landed in front of the last place that Naruto wanted to save. Naruto went inside as he dodged the swing of a pan. Get out of here, the person yelled. Naruto chuckled. Oji-san, calm down. I am not going to hurt you, Naruto said to him. The man calmed down as he looked to see the blonde. Do I know you? He asked Naruto. Naruto smiled. Sure you do, Tsuki-san, I was your favorite customer, Naruto said to him. Tsuki's eyes widened as he remembered a certain blonde. Naruto. How the hell did you get so big? Tsuki asked him. Naruto smiled as he looked at the ramen maker. Long story, I will tell you over some ramen, but I am here to save you. I am going to destroy Konoha, but I wanted to save my precious people first, Naruto said to him. Tsuki smiled as he let the pan down. So you wanted to save me and my daughter? He asked Naruto. Naruto nodded. Yes, Oji-san. How could I live my life without you or Ayame-chan? Naruto said with a smile. Tsuki nodded as he beckoned for Ayame. Ayame soon came to see the blonde man in the shop. To-san, who is he? She asked him. Naruto smiled as Tsuki answered. This is Naruto, Ayame. Tsuki replied. Ayame stared in awe as she looked at Naruto. She looked over his body until she clung to him. It's good to see you again, Naruto-kin, but why are you? I will tell you later, Ayame-chan, but right now I have to save you guys. Pack up your things and find Asuma along with Guy. They will help you. I will send a few shadow clones with you, Naruto said to them. Both nodded as they started to pack their things. Naruto made 4 shadow clones and gave them his orders. They nodded as he and Tsunade disappeared. With Sakura. Sakura was busy escorting the civilians to somewhere safe as she finally managed to find the last civilian that she could find and sent them into the safe zone. Sakura sighed as she finished her work. Some shinobi stood guard as Sakura shined off to deal in the invasion. Sakura soon appeared in the training grounds as she looked around. Okay, no one is here, I guess I better. Well, if it isn't the big forehead, someone said to her. Sakura soon took out a kunai as she looked around. Who is there? Sakura asked. The voice laughed as it replied. How could you forget Sakura? That is kind of sad, not that I really care, the voice said to her. Show yourself now, Sakura ordered. The voice laughed and appeared in front of her. Sakura suddenly gasped as she formed tears and dropped her kunai. Hello Sakura, the man said to her. Sakura was nearly in tears as she looked at the person she always wanted to see. Su-Ke-kun, Sakura said as she looked to see the raven-haired boy appear in front of her. Still messing around as always, huh Sakura, Sasuke said to her. Sakura suddenly smiled as she walked up to him. Sasuke-kun, what are you doing here? I have missed you so much. I love you. I know now that with you here, we can kill the Sakura suddenly stopped as she met Sasuke's intense gaze. I never missed you Sakura. I hate you. I will never love you. And the reason I am here, Sasuke said as he took out his blade. Is to kill you, Sasuke said to her. Training grounds. The reason I am here, is to kill you, Sasuke said to Sakura. Time stopped as Sakura looked at Sasuke. Sakura suddenly felt her entire world shatter into pieces as she looked at the raven-haired boy. Putting up a smile, Sakura continued to walk towards Sasuke. You're kidding Sasuke-kun, aren't you? I love you. This is just a joke, right? Sakura asked with a hopeful smile. Sasuke narrowed his eyes as a lightning current ran through his blade. No Sakura. This is no joke. You are going to die here by me. Trust that I am going to kill you, Sasuke said with a face that fully backed up his threat. Sakura's eyes widened as tears fell down her face. Is this my Sasuke-kun? Sasuke would never hurt me, would he? Why would he want to kill me? Sakura thought as she tried to fathom the fear that had been placed on her. Sasuke smirked as he looked at Sakura's grief-stricken face. Sasuke sighed. Well Sakura, I would say it was great to see you, but that would be lying. So now I will end your life right here and now, Sasuke said as he charged Sakura. Sakura was in too much grief to notice as Sasuke quickly passed her. Sakura was snapped out of her daze as she turned to Sasuke. Sakura fell to the floor as she looked to see her side cut by Sasuke's blade. Blood seeped from her side as Sakura placed her hands on her side and looked to see her blood-covered hand. He really wants to kill me. I love him, yet he wants to kill me. Why? Ever since the demon left, Sakura's face lit up as she looked at Sasuke. The demon is controlling Sasuke-kun. Of course that is what it is. Sasuke-kun wouldn't hurt me on purpose. I will free Sasuke-kun from the demon's grip and then he will be mine, Sakura thought with a slight smile, which didn't go unnoticed by Sasuke. What is she thinking that it would make her smile? Sasuke wondered as he looked at the dark kunoichi. Sakura soon took out a kunai as she got up. Sasuke-kun, you aren't yourself. I think you are under control of the demon. Don't worry Sasuke-kun, I will save you from his grip if it's the last thing I do, Sakura said with determination. Sasuke looked at Sakura like she was insane. I am an Uchiha. Nothing can really control me, Sasuke thought as he closed his eyes. Soon his eyes opened to reveal his Sharingan, but the intensity behind them caused Sakura to flinch. Sakura, you are going to die here. End of story. Now be a good fan girl, Sasuke said as he disappeared then reappeared behind her. And die, Sasuke said as he swung his sword at her neck. Much to his surprise Sakura managed to counter the blow with her kunai. I will save you Sasuke, even if I have to kill you, Sakura said as she pivoted her foot. Sasuke's eyes narrowed as the darkness enveloped around him. So this is the Yami art that Naruto told me about, Sasuke thought as he cursed the invasion for being at nighttime. Sasuke sighed as he forced a lighting current through his body. Soon the light shone as the darkness was blown away. Sasuke smirked as he tried to find Sakura. Soon Sasuke ducked as he saw Sakura's foot in the air move past him. Sasuke backflipped as he looked to see Sakura smirk as the darkness enveloped her right arm. Sakura's entire arm was pitch black as she smiled. Darkness envelops everything, Sasuke-kun. Nothing can fight it, Sakura said as she ran at Sasuke. Sasuke pulled his blade back as he channeled chakra to his feet. Sasuke's feet glowed as he charged Sakura. Both neared each other as both collided. The light collided with the dark as they both tried to overpower the other. Sasuke managed to push Sakura back as he noticed another smirk on Sakura's face. Soon the darkness over Sakura's arm extended and overshadowed Sasuke's sword. Sasuke seethed as he tried to pull his sword from the enveloping darkness, but soon failed as his arm was enveloped also. Sasuke cursed as he pumped more chakra into his lightning as his blade glowed more brightly. Sasuke smirked as he managed to push the darkness away and backflipped away from Sakura. Okay, so short-range fighting is a bit dangerous. Let's try something else, Sasuke said as he made some hand signs that Sakura managed to recognize. So Sasuke-kun, you want to turn this into a jutsu fight now? Sakura thought as she performed similar hand signs. Sasuke finished as he took a deep breath. Kaiten, Gokaku no Jutsu, Sasuke yelled as a giant fireball flew from his mouth. The fierce ball of fire flew towards Sakura as it managed to light the darkness around them. Sasuke smiled as he managed to see a good portion of the forest around them as he soon turned to see Sakura finished with her hand signs. Yamiten, Daimi Hano no Jutsu, Darkness Art. Great darkness blazed, Sakura yelled as a giant darkness grew in the center of her hands. Sakura smirked as she saw a bit of purple flash in the center of the ball as she shot it forward. Soon both balls hit as they disappeared. Sasuke looked confused as Sakura looked at him. Darkness envelops anything, Sasuke-kun. It can't be beaten by anything. I love the dark because it is always there, like a silent ninja. It waits until you are weak and strikes. It engulfs the soul of your opponents and leaves them in despair, Sakura said to him. Sasuke cursed as he looked around. Okay, she can cancel out any of my jutsus with her darkness and her power is more powerful now that it is nighttime. So basically she has the advantage, Sasuke thought as he tried to form an idea. Sakura looked at Sasuke as she soon took out a kunai. Sakura smirked as she allowed the darkness to flow through the kunai. The kunai was soon extended thanks to the darkness as it soon took the form of a reverse katana. Sakura soon charged at Sasuke as she brought him out of his thinking. Sasuke gasped at the blade and barely managed to dodge it as Sakura hit a tree. Sasuke watched in shock as the tree withered then crashed to the ground. This is my Tamashi no Karatoriki, Reaper of Souls, Sakura said to him. Sasuke looked at her as she maneuvered the blade so she brought it behind her back as she prepared to lunge at Sasuke. This sword devastates all that it touches, except me. In nature it devours everything in sight. Even though it isn't known, my sword is easily better than any of the hidden mist swords, Sakura proudly said to him. Sasuke took out his sword as he charged it full of lightning. Sakura, I am going to beat you. If nothing else in this invasion, that is a promise, Sasuke said as he charged Sakura. Sakura smiled as she charged Sasuke. With Naruto and Tsunade. Naruto and Tsunade smiled as they landed on the roof of the Hokage mansion. Both soon turned as they looked in the direction of the training field. Both saw lighting flare as it seemed to be battling the darkness around it. I guess Sasuke found his dance partner, Naruto said, which caused Tsunade to chuckle. Tsunade slightly laughed, but soon rubbed her stomach a little as she settled down. Naruto looked at Tsunade a little worried as moved a bit closer to her. Tsunade-chan, are you alright? Naruto asked her. Tsunade looked at Naruto and soon smiled. I am alright, Naruto-kun, just a little stomach pain. I can heal that in a bit, Tsunade told him. Naruto nodded as he looked around. He saw Konoha as the fires burned the buildings and houses around the village. Never really thought that we would be Konoha's destruction, Naruto said to her. Tsunade nodded at the irony of the situation. Now then, where is the problem of Iwa? Naruto asked as the two looked around. Both soon dodged an array of kunai as they backflipped. Both looked up to see Danzo on the roof with them. Well, it seems that the prodigal son has returned, Danzo said to Naruto. Naruto chuckled as he got up. Yeah, but only returned to destroy you and the war that you are trying to start, Naruto replied. Danzo smirked as he looked at the older Naruto and the much younger Tsunade. Tsunade, it seems you are still under a henge as always, Danzo arrogantly replied to her. Tsunade chuckled as she looked at Danzo. No Danzo, I just have a new medical jutsu. Now I am glad that I invaded Konoha all those months ago, Tsunade said to him. Danzo seethed as he looked at the two. You both have caused such a ruckus and you will die here. The village will now be safe from the demon and his little protection, Danzo said to them. Naruto and Tsunade smirked as they looked at Danzo. Naruto soon cracked his neck as Tsunade cracked her knuckles. Okay Danzo, you die today along with the rest of Konoha, Naruto said to Danzo. Danzo chuckled at the thought as he took out a shuriken. Naruto and Tsunade took out a kunai each as they waited for Danzo. Danzo breathed slowly as the wind soon picked up. So he has a wind affinity huh? Both thought as they saw Danzo blow the wind onto a shuriken. Danzo soon threw the shuriken as the wind increased the range of the blades that flew towards Naruto and Tsunade. Naruto smirked as his wind swirled around him. Tsunade-chan, get behind me, Naruto said to her. Tsunade did so as they wound around Naruto. As the shuriken got closer to them, Naruto jumped in the air as the shuriken nearly flew past him. Naruto smirked as he pushed his kunai into the small center of the shuriken and swung it back at Danzo. Tsunade smirked as she punched the ground under the Hokage mansion. Tsunade tore a chunk of the roof out of the mansion as she threw it at Danzo. Danzo smiled as the wind shuriken cut him in half along with the boulder that sent him just below the Hokage faces. There is no way it's that easy, is there? Naruto said to her. Tsunade sighed as she looked at the giant hole she made in the mountain. I am afraid not Naruto-kun, Tsunade said to him as they both saw the body of Danzo fade. Naruto narrowed his eyes as they looked around for Danzo. Mokuten. Mukozai Kimusho, wood style. Wood prison, Danzo yelled as multiple pillars of wood seeped out of the ground and tried to bind Naruto and Tsunade. Naruto managed to cut the trees with his winds as he jumped into the air. Tsunade managed to sidestep the branches as she backflipped onto a rooftop near the Hokage mansion. Danzo cursed as he saw Naruto in the air. Naruto did his signature hand signs as he smiled. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto yelled as 20 shadow clones appeared. All the clones smiled as each paired off. One clone grabbed the other's arm as they flung the clones at Danzo. Danzo smiled as he did a quick change of hand signs. Futen. Shinkaha, wind style. Vacuum wave, Danzo yelled as he began to spin in a circular motion. Soon the wind cut the clones in half as it went for the real Naruto. Naruto cursed as he didn't have the time to finish his hand signs in time. Danzo smirked as he saw the wind blades flow on course to Naruto. Naruto looked out of the corner of his eye as he saw a boulder move between him and the wind. Naruto smiled as he managed to get some solid ground on the rock as he backflipped away from the blades and landed back on the roof of the Hokage mansion. Soon Tsunade appeared next to him with a smile that made Danzo seethe. Thanks for the assist Tsunade-chan, Naruto said with a smirk. Tsunade smirked as she kissed his cheek. It's no problem at all Naruto-kun, Tsunade said as they both turned to Danzo. Danzo had a look of confusion about the interaction, but wrote it off. Naruto cracked his neck again as he formed a mental link to Hina. Hey Hina-chan, mind giving me 2 tails of chakra? Naruto asked her. Hina smiled as she beheaded a civilian. Go on Naru-kun, I have plenty to spare for you, Hina said as she decided to head to the meeting place. Naruto chuckled as he turned to Danzo. Alright Danzo-tem, it seems the introductions are over. Now let's get serious, Naruto said with a smile as red chakra enveloped his body. Soon the chakra covered him as one tail formed at the back of him. Naruto became more feral as his eyes slitted. Tsunade smiled with a nod at Danzo as she made a single hand sign. Influent. Kai, reserve seal. Released, Tsunade said as the diamond mark on her forehead glowed. Soon markings appeared on her head that originated from her mark. Tsunade smiled as the chakra poured from her body. I guess it's time to cut loose and have some fun, Tsunade said. Danzo chuckled as he took off his bandages and revealed his Sharingan in his eye and the other Sharingan in his arm. Naruto and Tsunade narrowed their eyes at Danzo. I think Sasuke is going to be really happy with this favor we are doing for him, Naruto said to Tsunade. Tsunade smiled with a nod as they stared at Danzo. Naruto and Tsunade ran as they decided to finish off Danzo with a bang. With Sasuke and Sakura. Sasuke was on the ground as he breathed heavily from his fight with Sakura. Sakura looked slightly winded as she tried to maintain her balance. Soon the lightning in Sasuke's blade dissolved as Sasuke slowly got up. Sasuke-kun, don't get up. Let me save you from the demon's hold on you, Sakura said to him. Sasuke chuckled at Sakura's stupidity and got back up. Sakura, you have to get this concept through that fangirl-obsessed head of yours. I will never love you and there is no demon's hold on me. Sakura, I remembered about my revenge. It drove me to do a lot of stupid things. It took having my hand handed to me by the adobe to see how stupid I was. Sakura, the darkness has completely engulfed you. You won't understand my words, but I don't really care even if you do. I will kill you, I personally requested for it and I am going to fulfill it for myself, Sasuke said to her. Sakura seethed as she still figured Sasuke was under Naruto's demonic control. He really has lost it. The demon's control over him is too much. Don't worry Sasuke-kun, I will give you peace, Sakura thought as she breathed deeply. I see his hold on you is too much Sasuke-kun, but I will save you right now, Sakura said to him. Sasuke sighed as he decided to end things now. Sasuke soon let the newly modified curse mark on his body take hold as the black flames covered his body. Sasuke gasped as he felt something different. Sasuke felt power, but it was dark nor was there malice. It felt more humble and soothing. There was no pain like the last time he used it. Soon the flames enveloped his entire body as he entered his second stage. Sasuke got his wings as he looked at Sakura. Sakura took the form in and was now more convinced that Sasuke was under Naruto's control. Sasuke-kun, you have lost yourself, but I will help you now, Sakura said as the darkness enveloped her body. Sakura smiled as pure black wings covered her back. Sakura looked at Sasuke as she formed a sword from the darkness around her. Sakura breathed deeply as she opened her eyes to reveal a dark pupil that enveloped both eyes. Sasuke soon got up as he looked at Sakura. Not much chakra left. I can only do the Chidori 3 times. Well, I will end it with my new jutsu while that pedophile trained me, Sasuke thought. Sasuke soon nodded as he flapped his wings. Sasuke shot into the sky as Sakura soon followed him. As Sasuke passed the clouds, he suddenly made a Chidori in his left hand. Gotta do this fast, Sasuke said as he rushed through the clouds. The clouds suddenly came together as they stored up the lightning from Sasuke's Chidori. Sasuke smirked as the thunderclouds began to form. Sasuke soon shot to the ground as managed to hit Sakura and power dived her to the ground with his Chidori. Raryu Otoshi, Thunder Dragon Drop, Sasuke yelled as they both hit the ground causing an electric current to run through it. Sakura gasped as Sasuke huffed. Sasuke soon flew from the crater he made as he saw Sakura lay still on the ground. Soon Sasuke heard laughter as he looked to see Sakura laughing almost maniacally at him. Sasuke-kun caused my blood to spill. Ha ha ha, my Sasuke-kun used the Chidori on me. He wants to kill me, ha ha ha. Sakura laughed maniacally as she gripped her dark sword and flapped her wings out into the air. Sakura smirked as she drew her sword back. I will free you now, Sasuke-kun, then we can be together, Sakura said to him as she dashed forward. Sasuke couldn't predict the speed as Sakura slashed him and appeared behind him. Yamiten, Shizukana Yami no Sum, Darkness Art, Claw of the Silent Darkness, Sakura said as Sasuke fell to the ground in pain. Sasuke cursed as breathed heavily trying to cope with his side that was hurting. Sasuke soon gasped as he saw the darkness eat away at his side. Sasuke cursed as he ran a quick lightning current through it, causing the darkness to vanish. Sasuke was still in pain as he gripped his side. Sasuke looked to see Sakura standing over him as she smiled. Sasuke-kun is mine. I will save him now, Sakura said as she brought her sword over her head. Sasuke huffed as he formed a quick Chidori in his right hand. Only one more Chidori left, Sasuke said as he steeled himself through the pain and hit Sakura in her chest. Chidori, Sasuke yelled as he heard Sakura scream from the pain. Sasuke soon pumped chakra to his arm as he sent Sakura into the air. Sasuke smirked as he formed his last Chidori in his hand. I will end it all now, Sasuke said as he shot into the air with great speed. Sakura was still in pain as she slightly opened her eyes. Sasuke smiled as he managed to pass her and appeared above her. Sakura looked at the thunderclouds blaze as one hit Sasuke's Chidori, enhancing the power behind it. Sasuke's Chidori got bigger as a big ball of lightning began. Sakura looked in wonder at the ball as Sasuke shot at her. Chidori. Suin Kaminari Jishin no Kami Chidori. Double lighting quake of the thunder god, Sasuke yelled as he slammed the big Chidori into Sakura. Sakura screamed out as she was propelled into the ground. Sasuke smirked as he suddenly fell to the ground, causing another lighting crater. Soon his cure mark deactivated as he walked over to the crater he made to see the battered form of Sakura in it. Sakura's darkness disappeared along with her sword as she returned to her dark clothes. Sakura looked up with fading eyes to see Sasuke looking at her. Sasuke-kun, it seems that I couldn't save you. Why am I so weak? Hehe, I guess I am no match for a demon, Sakura said as she wheezed a bit and coughed up some blood. Sasuke sighed as he looked at her. For the last time, Sakura, I don't love you. There is no demon's hold on me. I fought you because I wanted to. I wanted you to see that your stupid obsession with me was a waste of time, but you never did. I still hate you, Sakura, but I won't leave you to suffer, Sasuke said as he took out his sword. Sasuke dropped into the crater and walked over to Sakura. Goodbye, Sakura, Sasuke said as he raised his sword. Sakura slightly smiled as she slowly raised her arm as if to reach for Sasuke. Sasuke-kun is mine. I love him, but I couldn't save him, Sakura thought as she tried to reach further for Sasuke. Sasuke sighed as he brought his blade down and pierced Sakura's heart. Su-ke-kun, Sakura said as her hand fell to the ground as blood poured from her mouth. Sakura tilted her head as she remained motionless. The sky struck with lightning as Sasuke looked at Sakura's lifeless body. Sasuke took his sword from her chest as he swiped the blade clean from her blood. I guess I should find everyone else and finish this invasion, Sasuke said as he ran off, leaving Sakura's body in the crater. With Naruto and Tsunade. Naruto and Tsunade smiled as they slightly huffed. They smiled as they managed to get Danzo to use more than half of his arm's Sharingan. 5 down, 6 more to go, counting the one in his eye, Naruto said with a smile. Tsunade nodded as they looked at Danzo across from them. It seems that you two are more trouble than I gave you credit for, Danzo said to them. Naruto and Tsunade chuckled as they turned to each other. Yeah, we get that a lot, Tsunade said to him. Inside, Tsunade was a little worried for herself. I can't keep fighting forever, I don't want to risk injuring you, Tsunade thought as she rubbed her stomach slightly. Danzo seemed to focus on Naruto to notice the action. Soon Naruto turned to Tsunade. Tsunade-chan, I can make him waste those 3 Sharingan, but I need you to buy me some time, Naruto told her. Tsunade smiled with a nod as she ran forward. Danzo smirked as he dropped into a defensive taijutsu stance. Tsunade smiled as her hands glowed. Tsunade threw out a punch that Danzo managed to block. Soon Danzo felt a pain in his arm as Tsunade struck his other arm and his 2 legs. Danzo soon dropped as Tsunade looked at him. I just shattered your nervous system, Tsunade said as Danzo realized he couldn't move. Tsunade smirked at him. Nothing will respond the way you want it to, Tsunade said as he fist glowed again. Now stay down, Tsunade said as her fist hit him and sent him crashing down the building. Tsunade narrowed her eyes as she managed to see one of Danzo's Sharingan eyes disappear off his arm before he was sent into the building. 6 down, 5 to go, Tsunade said with a smile. Meanwhile, Naruto had his eyes closed as the wind enveloped him. Let the wind become my blade. May I cut down all enemies that stand before me, Naruto said as the wind settled on his back and formed his wings. Naruto smiled as he opened his eyes. Tsunade-chan, get back and I will end it here, Naruto said to her. Tsunade turned to him and smiled as she backflipped behind him. So what are you going to do? Tsunade asked him. Naruto smiled as he looked at her. Remember that jutsu that I practiced that you wanted to see? Naruto asked her. Tsunade nodded, causing Naruto to chuckle. This is jutsu and without a doubt, Danzo will learn what a true wind user is capable of, Naruto said to her. Clan compounds. While Naruto and Tsunade dealt with Danzo, everyone else was at their homes trying to convince their parents to come with them to Iwa. Apparently the parents had come for a strategy meeting when the invasion started and wanted to abide by their time until they got into the fight. Everyone told their stories to their individual parents as they looked at them. And that is why you should come with us to Iwa, Kiba said to Tsume. Tsume raised an eyebrow as she looked at Kiba. Tsume was obviously happy to see her son again like all the other parents, but could feel the severity if they spoke. Kiba, how do you know that you can trust Iwa? Inochi asked him. Kiba looked at him as he gave his best grin. Because Iwa is much better than Konoha ever could be. Don't tell me you actually think that this place is still great. Kiba asked them. All the heads faulted from that question as they knew that Kiba had a point. Sigh, this is so trouble. Shikaku suddenly stopped as he saw Shikamaru slam his hands on the table, which caused nearly everyone to startle. Don't even say that, father. We are thinking about your lives here. Don't call it troublesome that we worry about our parents, Shikamaru said to him. Shikaku slightly gasped then narrowed his eyes. Hiyashi suddenly stood as he looked at the group. And what would you do if we said no? Hayashi asked them. Everyone stiffened, but soon the last person anyone expected came forward with a resolve. Then we will fight you as Iwa shinobi and fulfill our duties, just like our parents taught us, Hinata said to him with a fierce determination that made everyone gasp. Soon the group smiled with a nod as they looked at their parents. We don't want to fight you. We all love you, but our village comes first, Choji said to Shuza. Tsume slightly smiled as she began to chuckle. After a bit of her laughing, Tsume got up and put one arm around Kiba. And since when did my son think he could take on his mother? Tsume asked him. Kiba smirked as he closed his eyes. If you wanna find out how strong I am, then come to Iwa and fight me, Kiba said to her. Tsume looked at him and chuckled. She soon sighed as she looked back at the other clan heads. Well, I can agree that this place isn't very great nowadays. Alright Kiba, you convinced me. I will go to Iwa. Now let me tell the clan and pack our stuff to leave, Tsume said as she left the room they were all in. Kiba smirked as he followed. Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji turned to their parents also. Shuza looked at his son's fierce determination and smiled. Very well Choji. You seem to have experienced a lot in the months that I haven't seen you. Alright, we will go also, Shuza said speaking for the Akamaiki clan. Choji smiled as he left the room with his father. Shikamaru turned to his Shikaku and steeled his gaze at him. Shikaku fell under the intense gaze of his son as he sighed. So damn troublesome. To be outwitted by my own son. Fine Shikamaru, you convinced me. Man, you get that persuasive side from your mother, I swear, Shikaku said with a smile as he and Shikamaru left. Ino looked at her father as if she was pleading to him. Inochi chuckled with a nod as he gave his daughter a hug. Both left, 2 clan heads and 3 of the group left. Well father, what are you going to do? Shino asked him. Shibi looked at Shino and narrowed his eyes, though people couldn't see it behind his glasses. Our clan is the most logical clan, Shino. We tend to make decisions based on rational thought, and I believe that leaving Konoha is very rational, Shibi said to him. Shino simply nodded as both vanished in a swarm of bugs, creeping out the 3 Hyuga that were left. Neji and Hinata turned to Hayashi, who steeled his gaze at them. So you expect me to serve Iwa simply because of the way that they treated you guys? Hayashi said to them. Hinata was getting a worried look, but Neji stepped forward. Can you honestly say that you are happy here? If you haven't been outside, then you should see what is happening, Neji said to him with a scowl. Hayashi turned to Neji and narrowed his eyes. I wasn't talking to you, Neji, Hayashi said to him. Neji slammed his hands on the table as he brought Hayashi's attention to him. Well, I am talking to you, Hayashi. You can complain all you want, but even you know that the Hyuga's power won't stop this invasion, Neji said to him. Hayashi sighed as he did a single hand sign and pumped chakra into the jutsu he was doing. Neji recognized the hand sign and steeled himself through what was to come, but it never came. Neji smiled as remembered Hina's generosity. Thank you, Hina-san, Neji thought as he grabbed Hayashi's hand, shocking the Hyuga head. That isn't going to work on me, Hayashi. Now I still agree with Hinata that we should save you, but you just nearly gave me a reason not to, Neji said to him. Hayashi narrowed his eyes as Hinata stepped forward. That isn't going to work too, San, and I think you should submit to our request because we don't have the time to go over this with you. Soon we want an answer in 5 minutes, and if you don't have one, then we will fight you, Hinata said to him. Hayashi turned to Hinata, shocked over her sudden change in behavior. The girl was exuding confidence like she had it her whole life. You're too weak, Hinata, you aren't capable of attacking me, Hinashi said to her. Neji turned to Hinata as he saw her hands glow. Hinata suddenly lunged as she hit the wall near Hayashi's face. Try me too, San, Hinata said to him. Hayashi's eyes widened as he looked into his daughter's Byakugan-activated eyes. Neji smirked as he turned to Hayashi. Well, Hayashi, what will it be? Neji asked him. Inwardly Hayashi smirked, meaning Hinata having such confidence. Hayashi closed his eyes as he sighed. They have truly grown in these last months, Hayashi thought as he opened his eyes at Neji and Hinata. All right, I will trust your judgment in this matter. The Hyuga clan will leave with you, Hayashi said with a smile. Neji and Hinata smiled with nods as they left the house and went to the compound. With Jiraiya. Jiraiya smiled as he appeared in front of the Namikaze compound. Memories of the place filled his mind as he looked at it. Jiraiya said as he took out a scroll. Your son has grown so much, Minato, Kushina. He even got the girl that I could never get. Oh well, Jiraiya said as he channeled chakra through it. Soon the house disappeared as the entire thing was sealed into the scroll. Jiraiya smirked as he picked up the big scroll and walked off. Okay, Konoha's jutsu are here, and Naruto's heritage is here also. I guess it is time to find Hina along with Sasuke. Naruto and Tsunade should still be fighting Danzo. Guess I will go now, Jiraiya said as he shushed out of sight. With Sasuke. Sasuke jumped across the rooftops as he looked around for Hina. Sasuke cursed as he held his side. I guess the fight with Sakura took more chakra than I thought, Sasuke said to himself as he managed to find Hina in the streets. Hey Hina, Sasuke said to her. Hina turned around and smiled as she flicked the blood of her hands. Hey Sasuke, so how did the fight with Sakura go? Hina asked him. Sasuke sighed with a slight smile. I am still here, aren't I? So you should know the conclusion, Sasuke said to her. Hina slightly laughed, but nodded. True, now let's get out of this village and wait for Jiraiya. We will also have Shizune patch you up, Hina said to him. Sasuke nodded as they two jumped to the rooftops that were still on fire as they went to the outer reaches of the village and waited for Jiraiya. With everyone else, though everyone got opposition from some of the remaining Konoha shinobi, they were all able to pack their clans' things and their compounds in the scrolls that Jiraiya made for them. Everyone smiled as their clan heads looked at their kids. Well, take us to the meeting point, Sum said to Kiba. Kiba smirked as he looked at his sister, Hana. Hana nodded with a smile also as Kiba and the others led their families out of Konoha. With Naruto and Tsunade. Naruto-kun, I think everyone is starting to leave. After we are done with Danzo, we should go also, Tsunade said to him. Naruto nodded in agreement. Sure thing, Haim, Just let me waste this guy's last 5 Sharingan and we will be on our way, Naruto said as his wings began to flap. Tsunade smiled as she backed away from the building. Soon Naruto's arms began to vibrate violently as he smirked. Not sure if this will waste his Sharingan, but I am not waiting for him to get out of there, Naruto said as he did his hand signs. Futen. Hama Repujin no Jutsu, Wind Style. Wind Blades Jutsu, Naruto yelled as he sent several wind blades into the building, effectively causing parts of the building to fall apart. Naruto smiled as he continued to destroy the mansion as he was hoping to get Danzo into the destruction. Soon the entire building came down as Naruto slowed his hands down. Naruto's wings were still active as he waited for Danzo. Soon out of the rubble came Danzo perfectly fine. However, he had only 4 Sharingan left. Naruto chuckled as he breathed deeply. You won't beat that demon easily, Danzo said to him. Naruto sighed as he disappeared. We will see Danzo Tem, but now it's time to show you my power with the wind affinity, Naruto said to him. Danzo smiled as he was sure he could follow Naruto's movements. Soon he felt pain as he saw that he was kicked into the air. Danzo looked to see Naruto beneath him. Danzo tried to maneuver in the air, but was suddenly stopped as Naruto grabbed his foot. He's so fast, Danzo thought as Naruto launched him higher in the air. Naruto smirked as he made the Rasengan with his hand. Sorry Danzo, but I never hesitate, Naruto said as he pumped more Charka into the Rasengan. Soon the blue spiraling ball got bigger as Naruto charged at Danzo. Danzo didn't have time to react as Naruto slammed the ball into his stomach. Rasengan. Naruto yelled as Danzo was hit by the ball. Soon the ball started to tear at Danzo's skin as Danzo was forced to use another Sharingan in his arm. Naruto smirked as he looked at Danzo disappear. 3 more to go, Naruto silently said as he stayed in the air. Naruto soon looked to see Danzo on a building that wasn't burning and smirked. So what is that technique of yours that makes you immortal? Naruto asked him out of curiosity. Danzo smirked as he held up his arm. This is Izanagi, one of the best techniques of the Sharingan. I am able to stay immortal this way, it is the best weapon to beat a demon like you, Danzo said with a smile. Naruto chuckled as he looked at Danzo. I think Sasuke will be more than happy to hear this, Naruto thought as he continued to stay in the air. Inwardly Danzo was a bit worried. I have to end this soon. I am almost low on chakra from the Izanagi and his reserves are naturally bigger than mine, Danzo said to himself. Naruto smiled as he disappeared. He soon appeared behind Danzo with a kunai. Pay attention Danzo Tem, Naruto said as he slashed Danzo across the throat. Naruto smirked as he saw another Sharingan close. 2 left, might as well give Sasuke a present, Naruto thought as a smile came across his face. Naruto soon chuckled as he dodged a wind bullet that flew past him. Danzo cursed that he missed, but soon Naruto looked at him. Impatient as ever I guess, oh well might as well show him the jutsu that I promised to show, Naruto said as he looked at her. Tsunade had a face of absolute excitement on her face as she looked at him. Naruto smiled as he turned to Danzo. Alright Danzo Tem, I will take you down now, Naruto told him, to which Danzo only laughed. I have 2 Sharingan left, he can't possibly, Danzo suddenly gasped as he looked at his arm. Danzo cursed as he finally realized it. Naruto was making Danzo use his Izanagi technique to exhaust the Sharingan. Danzo cursed at his overconfidence as he saw Naruto fly beyond the clouds. Danzo curled up an eyebrow as he saw the winds curve around the spot where Naruto was. Naruto smiled as he flashed through his hand signs to hurry and finish as fast as possible. Naruto chuckled as he held out one of his hands. Soon the winds formed around the hand as they became fiercer and stronger. Naruto smiled as the winds finished swirling around his arm. Naruto looked through the clouds to see Danzo still looking up. Naruto smirked as he did a shadow clone. Soon the clone disappeared and reappeared behind Danzo. The clone soon placed a chakra restriction seal on Danzo as he watched the Izanagi eye try to close. The clone smirked as he placed his hand on the eye, making sure that the eyelids didn't close. I think that Sasuke would like this, the clone said as he grabbed the eye and pulled it from Danzo's arm. Danzo screamed from the pain in his arm as the clone tossed the Sharingan eye to Tsunade. Tsunade caught his eye and looked at it. So this is the famed Sharingan. Never really saw it up close before, Tsunade said with a smile as she put the eye away for safety. Soon the clone dissipated as Naruto received its memories. Alright, now that your chakra is restricted, let's get started, Naruto said as his arm made a wind blade. Naruto smiled as he took out a burned seal tag. Naruto placed it on his wings of winds as he released the explosion inside. Tsunade looked up to see some of the orange coloring in the sky and was getting slightly worried. I hope you are alright, Naruto-kun, Tsunade said as she still looked up. Danzo cursed as his chakra was now restricted. He knew that his last eye was precious to him and he didn't want to lose it. Naruto smirked as he sighed. Time to go, Naruto said as he shot out of the clouds at a great speed towards Danzo. Tsunade gasped as she looked at him. Naruto's wings were on fire as they flapped in the air. Tsunade slightly dropped her jaw as she saw his speed. Naruto soon appeared across from Danzo as he smirked. Danzo soon looked behind him, but registered pain as he saw his arm drop to the ground. Danzo screamed as Naruto appeared in front of him. Soon Danzo's other arm fell down as Naruto kicked him into the air. Naruto soon bent his legs as he pumped chakra to his feet. Naruto soon shot into the air as he met with Danzo. Naruto soon smiled as he passed Danzo. Naruto soon made a vertical face as he shot downward at Danzo. Naruto suddenly slashed across Danzo as he shot to the ground. Futen. Kazakuma no Kanetsu, wind style. Blazing slash of the wind demon, Naruto said as Danzo was suddenly split in two as a line of fire burned from the spot where Naruto was in the air to the ground. Tsunade gasped as she looked at Naruto. Naruto's wings soon dispelled as the fire soon settled. Naruto stood up as he looked at Tsunade. Mission accomplished, Tsunade-chan, Naruto said as he walked over to the body of Danzo. Danzo was obviously dead as Naruto opened his eyes. Naruto saw the still active Sharingan as he slowly picked it out of his eye. Some blood sloshed out as Naruto took hold of the eye. Here, Tsunade-chan, we will present these to Sasuke after we go home, Naruto said to her. Tsunade nodded as they looked to see the fires around Konoha blaze. The village was now no longer manageable as the two decided to leave. Naruto soon stopped as he cut off Danzo's head. I didn't really want to do that, but Onoki Gigi did say that we should present his head to him, Naruto told her. Tsunade nodded as the two raced out of Konoha. With everyone else, everyone that was to be saved made it out of Konoha as they all watched the flames blaze across Konoha. I never thought the day would come when Konoha would be no more, Guy said to them. Everyone nodded in agreement as they all saw two shadows appear. Soon everyone smiled as they recognized the figures. No one waited long, did they? Naruto asked them. Most shook their heads as Sasuke, Hina, and Jiraiya walked up. Well, before we have more people charging at us, can we destroy this village already? Sasuke said to him. Naruto chuckled with a nod as he, Sasuke, Hina, Jiraiya and Tsunade stood a few feet from the gates of Konoha. Jiraiya did his hand signs as he pumped every last bit of chakra he had into it. Fujiko no Shoheki, barrier seal of containment, Jiraiya yelled as the purplish barrier soon began to spread over Konoha. Jiraiya smirked as the entire village was covered. Jiraiya soon sat down as 4 holes appeared in the seal. It's your turn. I am tapped out, he said to them. The 4 nodded as they stepped forward. Everyone did their hand signs as everyone looked at the village one last time. Kaiten, Karyu Enden, Sasuke and Hina shouted as the fire shot from their mouths. Naruto smiled as his arm glowed. Futen, Kase Kizu, wind style. Wind scar, Naruto said as he sent the wind into the fire. The fire was soon intensified as it shot forward. Tsunade smirked as she cracked her knuckles. Doten, Naiwasu no Ka, earth style. Division of the new earth, Tsunade said as she punched a line across the Konoha village. Tsunade smirked as she punched a line causing it to split. Soon the buildings inside the seal began to crash into each other as they fell between the ravine. Everyone smiled as the intense flames burned the buildings inside along with anyone still inside. That takes care of that, Naruto said to them. Everyone nodded as they started to walk. Naruto and Tsunade took charge of the group as everyone walked. After about an hour, a crowd of people began to have their own conversations as the Jonin and their previous students moved up to Naruto and Tsunade. So Gaki, is it true? Enko asked him. Naruto turned to her and smiled. Is that true? Naruto asked her. Enko and everyone scoffed. Are you dating Tsunade? Kurenai asked him. Naruto and Tsunade chuckled as Tsunade kissed his cheek. What do you think? Tsunade asked them with a smile. Everyone looked shocked, but soon recovered. Kakashi gave a thumbs up to Naruto. Guy went on about youth. Enko seemed to have a hint of jealousy. Kurenai shrugged her shoulders along with Asuma. Tsunade soon perked up as she turned to Naruto. Naruto-kun, I have something to tell you, Tsunade said to him. Naruto soon turned to her and smiled. What is Tsunade-chan? You can tell me anything, Naruto said to her. Shizune and Jiraiya perked up as they told everyone to quiet down so they could eavesdrop on the coming news. Soon most of the group was quiet as Tsunade breathed deeply. The truth is, Naruto-kun, I half lied about the stomach pains, Tsunade said to him. Naruto looked at her and wondered why she would lie. I am sorry to deceive you like that, Naruto-kun, but I didn't want you to worry. I was going to tell you this news after the invasion, so I am going to tell you now, Tsunade said to him. Naruto braced himself for whatever news she had for him. Tsunade turned to a smirking Shizune and a grin from Jiraiya. Tsunade steeled her nerves as she looked back at Naruto. Naruto-kun, I am pregnant, Tsunade said to him. Naruto stopped as everyone dropped their jaws, even Neji and Hiyashi. Everyone looked at Naruto, who looked at Tsunade. Naruto soon looked at the ground. Tsunade-chan is pregnant, Naruto said as he looked at the ground. Tsunade was suddenly sad as she wondered if she should have told him that now. Tsunade was about to cry until she saw Naruto smile. Naruto suddenly grabbed Tsunade into a tight hug as she looked at him. Tsunade Haim is pregnant with my child. I am going to be a father, Naruto said as he wiped his eyes full from the tears. Tsunade soon smiled with a nod as everyone got out of their dazes. Naruto kissed Tsunade as he let her hug. Well, Tsunade-chan, let's go home, then you can tell me about our child, Naruto said to her. Tsunade smiled as she nodded. All right, Naruto-kun, Tsunade said as everyone in the group began to pick up the regular pace. That went better than expected, but I am not complaining, Tsunade thought with a smile. Somewhere near Iwa, 2 days later. Naruto and Tsunade continued to lead the crowd of people across the borders as they all headed to the new village that would come to be their home. Naruto continued to have his idle chat with Tsunade about their upcoming child as everyone seemed to be getting into it also. So what name should we give it? Naruto asked his fiancé. Tsunade smirked as she looked at him. In truth, she really wanted to name their kid also. Don't you think we should find out its gender first, Naruto-kun? Tsunade asked him. Naruto soon looked at her and sheepishly nodded. Yeah, you're right. We should do that first. Man, this is just so exciting for me, Naruto said to her. Tsunade chuckled with a nod as they continued to walk. Soon people had their own conversations as they all walked. So how strong are you, Kiba? Tsume asked her son. Kiba smiled as he closed his eyes and remained silent, much to Tsume's impatience. Couldn't tell ya, Ka-san, you will just have to wait, Kiba said to her. Tsume narrowed her eyes at her son, but soon heard chuckling from her daughter, Hana. And what is so funny, Hana? Tsume asked her with a little key. Hana stopped laughing as she looked at her mother. Sorry, Ka-san. It was nothing, Hana said as she turned her gaze away from Tsume. Tsume inwardly chuckled as she spoke to Kiba about life in Iwa. Meanwhile, Hinata was doing the new procedure that Hina had taught her as she removed the cage seal from the branch family's heads. Hayashi was quite shocked at the act as he turned to his daughter. What are you doing? He asked her. Hinata smiled as she looked at her father. I am destroying the cage bird seal on the clan members. Sorry to-san, but we are going to be one family from now on, Hinata said to him. Hiyashi was still shocked over her sudden transformation, but was also shocked as he saw that she was older than she really should have been. How he missed that while they talked for 2 days was beyond him. Sasuke walked in silence as he contemplated his fight with Sakura. He didn't feel any resentment over what he did, but he was rather thinking of what to do now that he was finished with Sakura. Sasuke decided not to go back to Orochimaru since Naruto gave him the necessary power he wanted. He had also been thinking about his revenge on Itachi as he began to think of how empty he would feel after he did beat him. He realized that he could rebuild the Uchiha clan if he wanted in Iwa. He did have the opportunity to do so. Soon the mountains of Iwa came into view as Naruto sighed. Finally, only a short walk now everyone, Naruto said to them. Everyone nodded as they began to walk up the set path into Iwa. Everyone took in the range of the mountains as they walked. Tsunade had to admit that such a place would be good for training the Inuzukas. As everyone walked along the path, Naruto brought everyone to a stop as everyone looked at the giant stone doors. Everyone welcome to Iwa, Naruto said as the doors opened. Soon the village was in view as people saw Onoki at the entrance. Hey Onoki Gigi. Mission accomplished, Naruto said to him. Onoki smirked as he looked at the large group of people everyone brought back with them. You know that I need some convincing, right? Onoki said to him. Naruto nodded as he took out a scroll and applied chakra to it. Soon a head fell out of the scroll as Naruto held it up. Danzo Shimura, aka Hokage of Konoha. Here for delivery Onoki Gigi, Naruto said to him. Onoki nodded as he saw the gouged out eye on Danzo's right eye. Where is his eye? Onoki asked if I was interested. Naruto and Tsunade smirked as they turned around. Sasuke, could you come here? Naruto called to him. Onoki raised an eyebrow as the Uchiha came forward. What is Naruto? Sasuke asked him. Naruto turned to Tsunade as she nodded. Tsunade soon took out a scroll as she took a vial from it. Sasuke looked to see two sharing eyes in it. Sasuke was surprised as they smirked. It seems that Danzo Tem had a hand in destroying your clan. He had an arm full of the Sharingan, but me and Tsunade-chan managed to take these two. These are the last two before we killed him. We think that these belong to you, Naruto said to him as he handed Sasuke the vial. Sasuke took the vial as he stared intently at the eyes. Sasuke soon breathed deeply as he looked at Naruto. Thanks Naruto. I am glad that my clan was avenged from Danzo. I am going to give up my revenge on Itachi, Sasuke said, shocking everyone. Naruto looked at him confused. Why? Naruto asked. Sasuke sighed then smiled. Revenge consumed me too much and I nearly lost what was truly important to me. Ironically, Sakura showed me where obsession will lead a person and I don't like the result. Besides, I think Itachi should live with the torment of killing the clan, Sasuke said with a smile. Naruto chuckled as Sasuke turned to Onoki. With your permission Onoki. I, Sasuke Uchiha, would like to become an Iwa shinobi, Sasuke said to him. Onoki looked at Sasuke intently, but then smiled. Why not Gaki? I would love to have the Uchiha in my village, Onoki said to him. Onoki turned to the group of people and stood aside. Welcome to Iwa, Onoki said to them. Everyone in the group bowed as they entered the village. The people of Iwa began to cheer and smile as they all began to congregate. As everyone entered, Onoki turned to the ex-Konoha 11, ex-Suna shinobi, clan heads, and the Jonin present along with the Sannin. Meet me in the mansion, Onoki said as he flew to the mansion with a smile on his face. Naruto chuckled as he began to walk. I gotta find out how he does that, Naruto said to them. Everyone nodded as they began to run to the mansion. Tsuchikage Mansion. Soon everyone filled Onoki's office as they waited for his news. Onoki sat in his chair as he looked at everyone present. First, I want to say great job to everyone for the invasion, Onoki said to them. Everyone nodded as Onoki turned to Naruto. Please tell me what happened. Onoki said to them. Everyone nodded as Naruto told him how everything went down in the village. Onoki was surprised, but smiled when he heard that Naruto and Tsunade managed to overpower Danzo. Onoki sat in his chair as Naruto finished. Onoki nodded as he took the entire story in. Clan heads, Tsunade, Jiraiya. Please move to the side, Onoki said to them. Everyone nodded as they moved, leaving Onoki to face the Iwa 11 along with the ex-Suna shinobi. Onoki smiled as he looked at everyone. For the downfall of Konoha and the resourcefulness of your skills, you made the nearly impossible happen, and for that I was thankful to you. I am honored as the Tsuchikage to granted everyone the rank of Iwa Jonin, Onoki said to them. Everyone nodded as they all cheered. Onoki gave them their new vests as everyone put them on. Onoki then turned to the clan heads. Inuzuka clan, Hyuga clan, Uchiha clan, Akamaiki clan, Yamanaka clan, Nara clan, Aburame clan, Namikaze Uzumaki clan, Onoki said as he mentioned the names. Tsume, Hiyashi, Sasuke, Shuza, Inochi, Shikaku, Shibi, and Naruto all looked at Onoki. I welcome the clans to Iwa. You will all have your clans placed at specific points in the village, Onoki told them. Everyone nodded as Onoki turned to Tsunade and Jiraiya. Jiraiya of the Sannin, we would like you to continue to manage your spy network for Iwa, Onoki said to him. Jiraiya chuckled, but nodded as he soon took out a scroll. Tsuchikage-sama, here are all of Konoha's jutsus and scrolls that I could find in the village, Jiraiya said to him. Onoki became wide-eyed as he smiled and took the scroll. Thank you Jiraiya, this will be of good use to the village, Onoki said to him. Jiraiya nodded. Onoki then turned to Tsunade. Tsunade, I would like you to run our medical clinic, Onoki said to her. Tsunade chuckled, but nodded. Yes Onoki, Tsunade said to him. Onoki nodded as he waved his hand. Everyone began to leave except Naruto and Tsunade. Onoki Gigi, do you think it is possible to lessen some of Tsunade-chan's workload for a few months? Naruto asked him. Onoki looked at Naruto in confusion. Why? Is there something wrong? He asked them. Naruto and Tsunade chuckled as they looked at him. No, something is very right, Tsunade said to him. Onoki looked more confused, but Naruto soon nodded. Tsunade-chan is pregnant Onoki Gigi, Naruto said to him. Onoki gasped as he soon fell from his chair. Seriously? He asked them. Both chuckled in laughter as they looked at his face. Onoki soon looked down as he smiled. Fine, Tsunade won't have much work, but she can't slack off either, Onoki said as he saw Tsunade give a slight pout, which made him chuckle. Nevertheless, Tsunade nodded along with Naruto as they left. Outside the mansion, Naruto and Tsunade rejoined everyone as they all came together. So what is everyone going to do now? Naruto asked them. Everyone chuckled as they thought. I am going to sleep for the next week. I am dead tired, Shikamaru said as he got a nod with Temari. Soon they walked off towards the house. I am going to train with Sasuke and Neji, Kiba said as the other two nodded. All three walked off. I am going to spend some time with Hanabi, Hinata said as she walked with her father back to the clan. Gaara and I are going to bed for a long time, Kankuro said with a smile along with a nod from Gaara as they left. Tenten turned to Ino, Choji, and Lee. I guess we are going to walk around the village for a while, Tenten said as they nodded. Me and Jiraiya have to sort through the scrolls for Onoki, Shizune said to him as they poofed out leaving Tsunade, Naruto, and Hina. And what about you? Naruto asked her. Tsunade smiled as she took Naruto's arm. I am spending the day with Naruto-kun, Tsunade said to him. Naruto chuckled then turned to Hina. Will you spend the day with me Hina? Naruto asked her. Hina perked up and smiled. I have nothing better to do than Naruto-kun, Hina said to him as the three walked off. Life was quite good for Naruto and Tsunade. Epilogue, 1 year later. This is your mission, try to come back without injuries this time, Onoki said with a smile. Neji, Tenten, Lee, and Guy nodded as they left. Onoki smiled as he sat in his chair. Iowa had become a powerful nation as the news of the downfall of Konoha began to spread throughout the world. Soon the other 3 villages feared Iwa as they proved their superiority. This is a good feeling, Onoki said as he sat in his chair. Soon someone came through the door as he held a baby in his arms. Hey Onoki Gigi, the person said as he cradled the baby in his arms. Onoki smiled as he looked up at the man. The man's hair was even more spiky as his bangs covered the side of his face. He wore an orange coat with black flames at the bottom. Onoki chuckled as he looked at the man. Hey Gaki, how are you doing? Onoki said to Naruto. Naruto chuckled as he walked forward. Kushina-chan wanted to meet her great godfather, Naruto said as he looked at his daughter. Onoki chuckled as he took the child from Naruto's arms. Onoki cradled the child as she laughed. She is very cute, Onoki said to him. Naruto nodded as he saw his daughter smile. Naruto smiled as he spent some time in Onoki's room. So how is everyone else? Naruto asked him. Onoki scoffed then smiled. You should now be the captain of Terra, Onoki said to him. Naruto chuckled with a nod. Hehe, yeah. Hinata, Shino and Kiba are flawless in their teamwork now. Neji, Sasuke, Gaara, and I are currently the leading team in Terra currently, Naruto said to him. Onoki nodded as he saw Kushina go to sleep. So where is everyone else? Onoki asked him. Naruto smiled as he thought. Let's see. Shizune-chan is taking care of the hospital currently. Eros Sennin is somewhere out in the world. You just sent Guy and his team on a mission. I think everyone else is training with their senses, Naruto said with a shrug. Onoki nodded, then got a gleam in his eye. And how is marriage? Onoki asked him. Naruto chuckled then looked at Onoki. It's actually quite good. I don't get men who have a failing marriage. Tsunade-chan and I do have some problems, but all in all we are very much happy, Naruto said to him. Onoki nodded as he gave Kushina back to Naruto. Kushina stared intently at his hair as she pulled it down. Naruto gave a small yelp as he chuckled. She has her mother's strength, Onoki told him. Naruto nodded. As he took the cloth of her body. Naruto smiled as he held the blonde girl in his hands. I think Ka-san and Tu-san will be happy with what I have accomplished with you, Onoki Gigi, Naruto said to him. Onoki nodded as he smiled. Your father was a pain, but it seems that you managed to heal the scars of Iwa, Onoki told him. Naruto nodded as he soon wrapped Kushina in the cloth. Well Onoki Gigi, I have to go, Tsunade-chan might get worried, Naruto said to him. Onoki nodded as Naruto disappeared in yellow lighting. I am glad he is using that technique for Iwa now, Onoki said with a chuckle. Namikaze compound in the mountains. Naruto smiled as he appeared in front of his house and opened the door. I am home Tsunade-chan, Naruto said. Tsunade queried and appeared out of the kitchen. And how was your day with Kushina Naruto-kun? Tsunade said to him. Naruto chuckled as he gave Kushina to Tsunade. It was great, she is starting to gain your grip, Naruto said to her. Tsunade chuckled as she lifted her baby up. She is going to be a strong girl when she grows up, Tsunade said to him. Naruto nodded as they held Kushina. Soon someone came downstairs to interrupt the two. When is my turn Naru-kun? Hina said to him. Naruto chuckled as he looked at Hina. Tsunade laughed as she took Kushina into the kitchen. Don't rush Hina-chan, I am sure you will have my children also, Naruto said to her as he gave her a kiss. Hina nodded as she leaned on his chest. Yeah, I will have Naru-kun's children soon, Hina said to him. Naruto nodded as he walked her to the kitchen. Tsunade laid out the food as everyone sat down. So do you have a mission, Naruto-kun? Tsunade asked him. Naruto chuckled as he gave a spoonful of food to Kushina. Yeah, I have to go with Gaara, Han, and Rushi to Kumo for a bit, Naruto said to them. Both women nodded as they ate their food. Well good luck, and come back safely, Tsunade said to him. Naruto nodded as everyone ate in relative silence. Soon the food was finished as Naruto kissed Tsunade and Hina on their cheeks. I love this life and I am happy with what I have. I will protect this life and everything precious to me. I am glad I left Konoha so many months ago. I have a village that accepts me and I have 2 outstanding wives. I also have a child from one of them. Anything that tries to destroy this peace will be stopped by me. I swear on my name is Namikaze Uzumaki. And that's the end of part 4. How did you like this part? Tell me in the comments, do you think Naruto and Tsunade's relationship is getting stronger? If you want part 5, then please like this video and comment, next part. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. I'll see you in the next part. Take care, bye.